The insight that I want to explore today is around the idea that, if I drink a coffee because I want more energy, I'm reinforcing the idea that I don't have enough energy. And we all know, like, anybody who's drank coffee and, like, allowed the coffee to become an addiction, everybody knows like that you get to a point where you're drinking so much coffee and it's doing absolutely nothing for you and you're still feeling like I need more energy. This is like something that we're all familiar with in one way or another. Like there's some aspect of our life where we're trying to get something, and the more that we try to get it, the more it feels like we don't have it. And the idea originally came to me from like the Tao, like ancient Chinese um, philosophy. And, it's one of the few books that I still have after traveling all over the country, the Tao Te Ching. I don't actually know how to even say it. Like, I'm not trying to say that I understand the culture or anything like that. I just love the book because it's a spiritual text. It's one of the few spiritual texts that I feel like anybody on the planet could read and they could get something out of. And it's one of the few spiritual texts that doesn't have it's not telling you to give your power to something outside of yourself. It's just an acknowledgement and a respect for like the universe or spirit or like the Tao is what it's called. Like it's the thing that as soon as you can put it into words, then you're no longer talking about the Tao. Like it's this unknowable, incomprehensible, infinite everything. And I feel like that's why I still have that book, and it's something that you could just flick through and you could read a chapter of and you could just feel better. Um, but yeah, that's where this kind of train of thought and this wisdom or knowledge comes from originally, as far as I know. Like I'm sure that there was like knowledge and everything evolves through time, right? Like if we wanted to know the true origin of the first time that anything was ever articulated, that would be here wondering and pondering forever. But that's like, just wanted to like give credit really to like where the knowledge comes from if I'm going to talk about it. But like you could just as easily, like the beauty of knowledge like that, like really true like root truth knowledge, is that it's the kind of stuff that you learn through your experience of reality, like sitting in nature and shit like that. Those kinds of lessons that you learn just by watching the metaphors of like nature around you. Like you can, or just watching your own relationship with your own life. Like these are conclusions that you come to on your own. And I think that's why like truth of this nature really resonates, is because you fucking know it before you read it, because you've experienced it. Like you've got the evidence inside of you in your direct experience and through like everything. It's not this intangible thing. It's like it speaks to your heart because your heart knows. And like this is like me trying to articulate what that is, when we read this stuff. But the point of this, which I lose like so much of the audience, I feel, when I go on one of those like philosophical kinds of trains of thought. But it can be fun as well, even if it does sound like gibberish. Like, you know, yeah, I'm saying like the more that we look for something outside of ourselves, we've all had that experience. Like winter right now, everybody's trying to like stay warm, get comfortable. We're so desperate to feel comfortable and warm. How many people stay under the covers in the bed and they don't want to get out of bed because they don't want to face the cold? But like as soon as they get out of the bed, they've just got this huge like feeling that it's so cold and desolate outside of the comfort. And then we turn the heaters on everywhere we go, and um, just like so that we can try to control reality as much as possible and create as much comfort as possible. But we're just reinforcing how uncomfortable winter is. And then as soon as we've got to deal with the slightest bit of discomfort, the slightest bit of cold, we're reacting to it so much more than we would have if we had just accepted the cold and like come into balance with the cold. Like maybe you chuck an extra couple of layers of clothes on and you just move through the cold. You don't have to like stay in your little bubble where you've controlled literally climate control, you know, that's what we call it, keeping everything the way that we need it to be. And like the funniest thing about like the comfort seeking is like most comfort seeking things create more discomfort. For example, the heaters will dry out your skin. They'll make you itchy. They'll give you infections. They'll make you sweat. They'll make you dehydrated. And then like you're having these weird times where it's the middle of winter and you're sweating and dehydrated, and like your skin's all dry and all of these things that should never be happening in winter. Like it should be relatively easy to stay hydrated in winter, you know, things like this. And same with like using substances outside of yourself to make yourself more comfortable. Like anybody who's had any reasonable addiction to a substance knows like how uncomfortable that gets as time goes on, as the substance stops delivering on its promise over time, and you know, you're taking more and more of the substance, whatever it is, even if it is just coffee, you know, and it's just not doing anything for you anymore, but you're still copping the consequences of the imbalances that it's creating in your body and your mind, and you're sleeping like shit, and then that's doing a whole cascade of consequences like dominoes just tipping over, and it's eroding everything, all of the balance in your life. Like, because why? Because of the original idea that I want to pursue this feeling or this comfort or whatever it is. It's not just comfort, you know. You could be pursuing wealth. You could be like, I need more money, and you get like locked into this relationship with money where you're like, I've got to get more money, and you're just reinforcing to yourself like, I don't have enough money. And your whole lens for viewing reality, just like the person who's seeking comfort, and their whole lens is like comfort. As soon as there's discomfort, everything's fucked. Same with money, like everything's about money. I've got to make money. As soon as you have a bad week, or like a client falls through or something like that, it's like, oh, I don't have the money. And then it's like, that's your lens. And we don't just have one lens, like we're not that myopic, but we have like our key things that we think are important that we're trying to get like outside of ourselves. And as soon as we can't get it, then it's a problem. So like wealth, you know, that's why you have people that are like worth $50 million and they're still like freaking out about money. Like it's not as absurd as it seems when you actually apply like this kind of thinking to it, you know. Like, of course, if I think like I need more money, and I'm reinforcing the fact that I don't have enough money, like it's a never-ending cycle. And also, I don't know, I've never had $50 million, but I would imagine, just like with the imbalances that you create when you're trying to keep everything warm all the time, I'd say that when you're trying to keep all of these investments growing all of the time, that would actually create more stress and make you more vulnerable, and you'd be taking more risks, and more things would be going wrong, and you would actually be losing money quite frequently because of because you're trying to get it, you know. And this isn't like any original thought or new thinking at all. It's just like me thinking it and contemplating it and being with it in the moment. And like that's what my journals are really about. Like I'm not here trying to tell you something that's never been told before. I'm just like trying to be it. I'm trying to embody it. I'm trying to move through it. I don't want to make like a bunch of like really like this is what you should do and this is how you do it, and like too instructional. I don't want to be too instructional. I really want to be like, this is where I'm at and this is what I'm thinking, and like maybe if we think about it a little bit more, we'll have the insights that we need to have, where you don't need to be told what to do, because like you're just having the ideas yourself, and you've already had the insights that are necessary to move through that. So if you're getting anything out of these videos, please click the like button for me. Like share it in a Facebook group, put it on a Reddit thread, like whatever you think is going to help more people who are actually going to get something out of these videos, get something out of them. Like pass it on, and subscribe and all that good stuff as well. Check out the website.